G'day everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. So with the AFL draft slowly but surely creeping up upon us, in today's video I'm going to be going over my 2022 AFL mock draft, going over the top 30 picks. If you're going to enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, that'd be much appreciated, and let's get into it. Okay everyone, so here we are, as you can see on your screens. This is what the little draft board does look like, and this is what it will start like, obviously at the start of the draft. And of course I will add in all the academy bids and whatnot. I'm going to try and exclude, of course, the live trading, because we don't know when will that happen. I'm going to be going over the top 30 picks, simple as that. So we kick it off. The first pick of the AFL draft belongs to the GWS Giants, and look, it's either CARDMAN or they're going to build on Ashcroft, and I reckon, because Ashcroft in my opinion is the best player in the draft pool, I reckon they will attempt to bid on Ashcroft, and of course it'll be matched by the Brisbane Lions, therefore making Will Ashcroft the #1 pick of the 2022 AFL draft. Yeah, just as I said, the clear-cut best looking prospect out of the whole draft pool for 2022. I seriously think he's good enough to really be the best 22 play come round one with all those awesome additions to the Lions midfield. He just looks like an absolute gun play, tremendous leadership skills, accumulates the ball left, right and centre game after game. He's just going to be a genuine superstar. He could even maybe turn out to be better than Nick Teqoy. I still feel people are underestimating this guy's potential impact he could make on the Lions side, maybe in his first 2 years at the club. But yeah, Will Ashcroft goes at pick 1 in my opinion. Now we fall to pick 2, GWS Giants. After failing the bid on Will Ashcroft, they will most likely or should take CARDMAN. Of course, the key forward, they are in dire need of that next generation key forward, the Jeremy Cameron replacement. You look at Jake Riccardi, you look at Jesse Hogan, you know, they're somewhat okay plays, but they're just not going to cut it, I don't feel. They need that potential Coleman medalist superstar key forward to really get their spine sorted out, but just seems to be an extremely athletic key forward, sort of like a Cameron replacement in a way, with very good leading patterns and great above the air marking too. So I reckon CARDMAN will go pick 2 to the Giants. Now at pick 3 with North Melbourne, they do have pick 3 and pick 4, and it's pretty much guaranteed. We've heard lots of rumours that North are going to take both of these players. First one I reckon they'll take is George Wardlaw, the inside midfielder. Looks to be the best contested midfielder in the draft pool, maybe slightly behind Will Ashcroft, but yeah, this guy, very clean play in the cold face, extremely competitive too, and most people are saying he could be a bit of a Jason Horman-Francis replacement, minus the forward craft of course, but yeah, just the likes of 𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐼 and 𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐻 and Wardlaw into that midfield. Geez, it's going to be absolutely powerful with contested ball, because they were quite decent at the clearance game last year, but the addition of Wardlaw could, yeah, just turn it up a notch of course. So yeah, I think Wardlaw will go at number 3. Following now at pick 4 with, again, North Melbourne. Yeah, they will probably most likely take, I reckon, they'll take 𝘼𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐼. Yeah, looks to be the best general forward. Just the forward crafty shows 𝘼𝐻𝐿𝐼 is really special. They need sort of that reliable third tall in North Melbourne's forward line. Like in 𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐼, obviously showed some good signs last year, but yeah, they just need another extra focal point in attack. And 𝘼𝐻𝐿𝐼, smart eye for goal, really good forward craft. Yeah, it's a perfect fit in North Melbourne colours, I do believe. Now at pick 5 we have the Essendon Bombers, and this is an interesting selection here. Depending on who they take, it could really shape the top 10 or even the top 15 in the draft, but I just feel, considering that situation, they're under a new coach, I feel like they've just got to nail this pick. They could go Humphrey, they could go 𝐵𝐵𝗹𝗶𝗹, but I feel the safest option is Sardis, and I reckon they will go for it. Look, I just feel that if they go Humphrey or if they go 𝐵𝐵𝗹𝗶, of course, I just feel if they don't take Sardis and he becomes a superstar, you know, it will come back to haunt them. I just feel Sardis in their situation, looking at 𝐵𝐵𝗹𝗶 and all those types and Humphrey, they seem to be more of the X Factor plays, but I just feel, yeah, Sardis, just what he offers is just the safest option. He could be still the ceiling, it could be very sky high. Really good, just a solid balanced midfielder. Inside and out game looks very strong. Ceiling and his speed too, his burst of acceleration is really noticeable. Of course, racks up the football, and another player who's just very clean in the contested game as well. So look, I feel like maybe needs wise they could really go for 𝐵𝐵𝗹𝗶 or Humphrey, but I just feel with Sardis, you've got him in with Parrish, Merritt, Ben Hobbs too as that inside ball. I just feel it's the safest option. I feel like the Dons have to be going with Sardis here. At pick 6 now we go to the Gold Coast Suns, and it's an interesting choice here. They could go with a number of midfielders to choose from. They could go 𝐓𝐡𝐞, Humphrey, or 𝐵𝐹𝐿𝐴. I feel like it's one of those three, or even 𝘖𝐵𝐷𝐿𝐴. Don't count out 𝘵𝐵𝐿𝐴. I think he's a genuine chance because they're in dire need of a third tall. But I reckon their main need is a point of difference midfielder. With the departure of Rankin, they need that X Factor player, and I think they'll be taking the punt and selecting Bally Humphrey from Vic Country. It's good that he is from Vic Country, so it sort of helps with player retention. But yeah, this guy is a massive bolter in this year's draft. Of course, there's always been the cons of many people saying his kicking action does look weird. I do have to agree with that. But just what he's able to offer on the scoreboard is deadly, and they just need that point of difference midfielder. They really do lack that. You know, you've got Elijah Hollands running through the wing. Really awesome second half of the year. 𝐼𝐶𝐞 𝐎𝐥𝐝 is that two-way runner. Matt Rowell's a top 5 tackler. Noah Anderson's, of course, a gun, and Swallow in there too. I just feel Humphrey seems to be a really solid addition into that Suns midfield. And yeah, he has very, very high upside, this fella too. Now we fall to pick 7 with the Hawthorn Footy Club. And of course, they are wanting to look at one of the top-rated midfielders in this draft pool. And I reckon they will take Cameron McKenzie. I guess you could say, yeah, the tall midfielder. He's got tremendous athleticism with really good ball-using ability. And I feel like they've got some decent inside midfielders on that Hawks side. Of course, John Newcomb, Warple can get back on track. I just feel with the addition of McKenzie and, of course, the departure of Mitchell and also O'Meara, I just feel McKenzie's ability in the stoppage and also his smart decision-making just seems like a really good fit for the Hawks side, alongside Josh Ward too. And of course, it adds a bit of height into their midfield, so I feel like McKenzie will make his way to the Hawks. At pick 8 now, we have the Geelong Footy Club, and I feel like they will be taking 𝐼𝐿𝐴 𝐿𝐴. They are in desperate need of that next generation inside midfielder, with eventually, of course, their midfield getting on a bit now. Joel Selwood's retirement. This guy's mentor is Joel Selwood. It's a pick really written in the stars. I can't really see him go for an unexpected pick. I just feel like they have to go with Clark here. It's just, you know, it's a match made in heaven, really. You know, the Geelong Falcon boy, really strong in the contest, as said before, needing just some more inside midfielders, especially young ones, and Clark fits perfectly here. 181 centimetres, an ultra consistent player with tremendous good footy smarts, and of course leadership too. This guy could be the future captain for the Geelong Cats, and I feel like they will be taking 𝐼𝐿𝐴 𝐿𝐴 at pick 8 Geelong. At pick 9 now, we have the West Coast Eagles, and it's one of the interesting teams here. Do West Coast go for 2 local WA talents, or do they go for maybe a Matty Phillippo? I feel like he's an option here at pick 9, but I do believe I've got them taking Jed Busslinger from, of course, WA. My thoughts on them taking Busslinger is at 9. I just feel if they really do want to pick him up, I don't think he'll be available at 13. So I feel like if they take Busslinger at 9, they can maybe take a 𝐷𝐿𝐴 or 𝐵𝐵𝐵 at their pick 13. So I feel like Busslinger will go early because you feel like Saints, Carlton, or the Western Bulldogs will easily take Busslinger if still available. But yeah, the best key defender of this draft pool, shows tremendous intercepting game with really good upside, a strong mark too, and his kicking out of the back 50 is really good too. I know they do have some good talents. Of course, Jeremy McGovern coming back from injury, also Bazos as a depth player, Edwards, and of course Tom Barras. But you know, this guy could be a future, you know, top 5 key back in the years to come. Busslinger, a really good prospect, and I reckon he goes to the Eagles at 9. Now, at pick 10, we have 𝐶 𝐶𝐿𝐴, and they'd absolutely love it if this man is still available. I reckon they will take Matthias Phillippo. 𝐶 𝐶𝐿𝐴, desperate need of that X-Factor mid/forward. Just seems like a really professional character on and off the field. You know, a smart footy player, extremely good on the scoreboard too, which is just, you know, exactly what 𝐶 𝐶𝐿𝐴 need. They're a midfield with probably too many inside midfielders. I need someone, the point of difference midfielder, simple as that. I think Phillippo ticks all the boxes for the Saints. Moving on now to pick 11, and the Carlton Footy Club, I reckon, will step up to the podium and take Oliver Hollands from the Murray Bush Rangers, the highly rated endurance running midfielder. I just feel like Carlton's main need is some good outside run. You know, the inside game looks absolutely solid. Contested game was awesome last year. You had Walsh, Cripps, Kennedy running through there. Hewitt, of course, which is an extremely underrated player in the Carlton side last year. I think he finished quite high in the best and fairest. The outside game could really do us improvement. I think Hollands is a perfect fit for Carlton here. Not only is he an extremely accountable player, that's something what Carlton really do need, some accountable players. Very good two-hour runner. Is smart kick too. Really clean player. Great skills. I think it's a perfect fit for Carlton. Maybe they could take Busslinger still available, but for me, Hollands is just a very ideal selection for him, helping out a bit on their outside game. With pick 12 now, the Western Bulldogs, I reckon they will take 𝐼𝙗𝐿𝐼𝐻𝐾 from Western Australia. They're sort of at that awkward range, the Bulldogs, in the draft, where they, just missing out on bustling of Phillippo, Hollands and Humphrey. So maybe they do go with the bolter like Ollie Houghton or something, but I just feel they wouldn't mind another burst midfielder added into the midfield stocks. Of course, with Dunkley's departure, they could do with a bit of X factor, and I feel like Hewitt does really look good. His contested game is very good, and they do like those contested midfielders, the Bulldogs, and he's a very explosive player that can grab the ball, burst, hit a target inside 50. I'm also aware that Hewitt does have a few rumours that he could potentially slide, which I maybe can see because his consistency has been problematic, maybe with a few recruiters, but I just feel based off power rankings, Hewitt is the best available, and I feel like where the Bulldogs are, they wouldn't mind a bit of a Dunkley replacement. He just seems to be a good fit in the Doggies side, and I reckon they'd be pretty content with taking Hewitt. With pick 13 now, the Eagles returning into the draft. I have them taking Reuben Ginbey, another local WA talent. I just feel with them splitting their picks, they sort of most likely are going to take two WA prospects. They could maybe go again with the Phillippo, but I just felt the reason they did move down the draft, obviously, because they rated a few players like Ginbey and Buslinger. But yeah, probably Ginbey's maybe still the best available on their board. And, WA boy, really good inside midfielder, probably one of the best contested mids in the whole pool, alongside Wardlaw and even Ashcroft. But yeah, they just really need replenishment of their midfield, the Eagles. And yeah, Ginbey will be a solid addition into the side. Pick 14 now, and we have the Melbourne Demons, and I reckon they will take Matt Jefferson, the key forward. That's one of their biggest needs. The Demons, they need that sort of next generation key forward, and of course with CARDMAN not available, Jefferson is a player that really could go high up the draft. He's a highly rated key forward, but just where the needs sort of sit, it falls perfectly into the Demons' hands, and I reckon they will select him. Could go alongside Jacob Van Rooyen, another really good-looking young talent that played excellent in the VFL side. But yeah, Jefferson, really good overhead, has tremendous upside as well. He could be an absolute superstar once he does bulk up, because he's only 84 kilos. So yeah, he could be probably maybe a bit of a project play. So I feel like the Demons are in the position to really build him up. So yeah, it just looks like a smart eye for 𝐴𝐿 too. So yeah, I reckon the Demons will take Jefferson. Pick 15 now, and we have the Sydney Swans, and they're always a mystery club. I feel like they're a chance to really take a bolter at pick 15. But I do have them taking Henry Hustwaite, the tall midfielder from the Dandenong Stingrays. With Kennedy's departure, I think Sydney will always be looking at replenishing a bit more of their midfield depth, and I think Hustwaite is a really good option, especially with their draft profiles. He's a smart player, a really smart decision maker, and he's a great kick of the footy too, and a clean player. The Swans really do like to draft their clean at ground level players. And of course, 195 centimetres, he's very versatile and can really play as a big-bodied mid, and just seems to really clean the coalface. So I think it's a really nice selection if Sydney are to take him. Now, pick 16 with the GWS Giants on the board, I reckon they will attempt to bid on Jasper Fletcher, and of course that will be matched by the Brisbane Lions. So the Brisbane Lions at pick 16 will match the bid for Jasper Fletcher, so I think he will go at 16. Through the academy and the father-son, Jasper Fletcher he is, and looks to be a really versatile midfielder that can run two ways, good kick at the footy, and can also make an impact down forward. Then at pick 17, with the Giants failing their bid on Jasper Fletcher, I have them taking Ollie Houghton, their mid/forward from Vic Metro. Look, I just feel like they need some really good-looking plays now forward to centre. Bobby Hill leaving, of course, and Taranto and Hopper, they really do need a look in their midfield sort of like /forward areas. And I think Houghton, he could be a potential bolter in this draft. And I think if he's still available, I think the Giants will snap him up in an absolute heartbeat. Just seems to be a really good play in the mid and forward areas. Shows tremendous athleticism, and is a very hard player to tackle when watching him play. And he is also one of those players that just shows a lot of impact per disposal, and I feel like the Giants need sort of those X-factor players returning into their side with a lot of departures. Now moving on to pick 18, Collingwood on the clock, and I believe that they will attempt to beat on 𝐼𝐻𝐿 𝐷avid Jr., and that will of course be matched by the Bombers, so they do lose, I think it's pick 22 or 23 or 24, one of those. They'll lose their pick there, and of course go up to match the bid for 𝐼𝐻𝐿 𝐷avid Jr., the father-son Prospect, who looks to be a really exciting play, shows really good upside, really good burst and acceleration. Agility is second to none. He can really find the scoreboard as well. So he could potentially be one of those inconsistent plays, but has the odd game where he could really turn it up and be a match winner. So he's going to be an interesting player to watch for the Bombers in the years to come. But yeah, another nice addition into their mid-forward stocks, I do believe, with a few nice looking young plays in there as well. Now Collingwood at pick 19 after failing the bid on Allen David Jr. I have them selecting Lewis Hayes from the Eastern Rangers. Probably the second best key defender in the draft pool, just behind Jed Busslinger. But this is a player that I feel like a lot of teams could maybe be sleeping on. I feel there's a chance to maybe be hyped the draft and maybe possibly be taken by the Bulldogs at pick 12. But yeah, he seems to be really good on the one-on-one game. His defensive craft is excellent, really good in the air. And I just feel with Jeremy Howe, of course, nearing the end of his career, Jordan Roughhead, of course, retiring in the early of the year, they do need some really solid looking options depth-wise in the key defensive stocks, the Magpies. So I think Lewis Hayes is a really good addition to their side. At pick 20 now, Sydney re-enter the draft, and I believe they will take 𝐼𝐶𝐞 𝐎𝐿 from Tasmania, the rebounding defender. I just feel with this sort of player, he again fits Sydney quite well on their side that loves to have good kickers, especially in the back half of the ground, and he is one of the best kicks out of the whole of the draft pool. The rebound defenders could do with some replenishment as well. You know, Jake Lloyd, Robbie Fox, Cunningham, they're all getting on now. So with a player like Cowan into the side, shows tremendous rebound ability. A great kick too. I think it fits the Swans draft profile quite nicely. At pick 21 now, we have the Giants again re-entering the draft. They have their 2 picks in a row, and I reckon they will select Braden George from the Murray Bushrangers. This guy was probably going to be a top 10 prospect if he did not do his ACL, and considering that the Giants have a lot of first round picks, they need some more general forwards into their side to help out Toby Green. I feel like they can't go wrong with Braden George. Going to be, of course, a bit of a project player, obviously because he can't play until 2024, but yeah, he'd just be a really good fit in their side. Of course, from Vic Country, so it helps out with a bit of player retention, but yeah, explosive, really good eye for goal. Just seems to be a great fit for the Giants. At pick 22 now, the Giants with their second pick in a row here, and I have them taking Jacob Costanti from the Gippsland Power. Looks to be a really good pressure forward that has the ability to play midfield minutes. Scoreboard impact is very good. The work rate too, there's tackling of course, and of course another Vic Country player. So they wouldn't mind the Vic Country players joining the Giants here if they can just like sort of bundle them up and group them and take them, the Giants can take them under their wing, which of course can help out with player retention. But as I said with the Braden George selection just before, they just need that replenishment of high impact midfielders and also forwards with the departures of course Bruin, Bobby Hill, Taranto and also Hopper. At pick 23 now, the West Coast Eagles re-enter the draft, and I believe they will take Harry Barnett, the ruckman. If this guy's still available, look, they could take Ed Allen or even Darcy Jones if they highly rate those 2 prospects. But I just feel if Barnett's still available, they got to be going with him. They desperately need a ruck, the Eagles. Of course, Nick Nack eventually now getting on. I mean, they have Jamison and Bailey Williams, very raw-looking talents. So Barnett is the best ruckman in this draft pool. Not only is he very good in the hit-outs, he's really athletic player. He's a really good contested mark. Second offense is very good. The contested work also in the midfield is quite strong too, and he could maybe even make a presence down forward too. But yeah, desperate need of a ruck, the Eagles, and I feel like if Barnett is taken here, could maybe potentially be a top 5 ruckman for the Eagles in the years to come. Now for the Western Bulldogs pick at pick 24, I felt like they were a side that would be very keen on Braden George. I just feel like it would just fit them very nicely as a bit of a smart general forward. A bit of a project player, but yeah, they're in, of course, one of the main list needs is a strong looking key defender, and I have them taking Josh Weddle from the Oakley Chargers. Of course, Josh is at that awkward range, 192 centimeters, where could he play as a number 1 key back? I don't think so, but in my opinion, I feel like he could still be a really good pickup for the Bulldogs. He could be just that third tall that they desperately need. They need a good user too, out of the fence, and he really shows that. Really good upside he does show, as well as he can put on a bit more bulk. But he has the ability to be a really good rebounding player and also play on tall and small opponents. And I feel like it would be a really good pickup for the Bulldogs here if still available. At pick 25 now, we have North Melbourne, and I reckon they will take Charlie Clark, the small forward. North Melbourne, they really do need a small forward in there, and I just feel Wardlaw really good looking contested mid. 𝐼𝐴𝐿, a really solid looking third tall player, and Charlie Clark just as that sort of like, he's compared to like a 𝗵𝐿𝐼 or Toby Green, just like a bit of a pest. They sort of need that with a smart eye for goal. I feel like Charlie Clark is a really good fit for North. Just another focal point added into that attack. And I also did hear that Charlie Clark, one of his favourite clubs he did get interviewed by was North Melbourne, so there's sort of links there as well. But yeah, you know, he shows really good competitiveness. Known as a bit of a pest, but they sort of need that North with it, as he is also a smart eye for goal. But yeah, they really do need a small forward. Charlie Clark, I reckon, is a really good fit. At pick 26 now, we have the Hawthorn Footy Club again, and I reckon they will take 𝐸 𝐸𝐿. This is a really mystery player in the draft because he has shown really good combine results, but sometimes they can show a bit of downside because although I know that probably recruiters and also fans would prefer to see performance over test results in the combine. But yeah, really athletic player, utility sort of player as well, playing as a tall midfielder for Claremont in the Waffle Colts. And I just believe in Hawthorn's situation, they could do with a bit more replenishment of their midfield, and this player just seems to be of a development sort of guy. He's a clean player as well. He shows really good kicking on both sides of either foot. And yeah, just Hawk situation, I feel like they fit them well. Development player, and considering where they are at. And yeah, a bit of a tall midfielder as well added into their stocks too. So I reckon they'll take 𝐸 𝐸𝐿. He could really go into any side, but yeah, I reckon the Hawks will take him. At pick 27 now, we go back to the Collingwood Footy Club. They ran into the draft, and I have them taking 𝐼𝐴𝐿 𝐸𝐿, the key forward that can also play in the ruck. Yeah, they could really do with a bit more addition into their spine. Of course, a number of games this year, or should I say last season now, Collingwood did sort of struggle with their key forwards. I mean, Darcy Cameron had a bit of a revelation of a season. Of course, so did Ash Johnson. With Kruger as well, showed some really good signs early in the season, but they did get injured. I just feel like they could do with another high-rated prospect like an 𝐸𝐿 𝐸𝐿 that also has the availability to play in the ruckman. So just seems to be a bit of a needs pick, but could turn into an absolute superstar. He has been compared to Paddy Ryder, so his ceiling is very high. Could make an impact in the middle of the ground and also down forward. At pick 28 now, the West Coast Eagles are up, and I have them taking Darcy Jones, the small midfielder, and this is a really interesting selection. He could really go high up the draft. He could go absolutely anywhere, but yeah, since he's still available with my Phantom draft here, I have him being taken by the Eagles. Just another local talent added to their list. But yeah, I seriously rate this guy. He is a very entertaining player to watch, but of course he's 63 kilos, 174 centimeters, so he seems to be a bit of a project player, but at the same time, the Eagles do really need a bit of outside run, so if he is to play, I feel like he could do a bit of a job on the wing for the Eagles. Pick 29 now, and we have Collingwood again, and I reckon they will take 𝐸𝐿𝐸𝐿, the inside midfielder. Yeah, really well rated inside contested sort of midfielder. I feel like he was a player that was quite highly rated early in the season, so maybe he could be a nice pickup here for the Magpies, but of course they are in some desperate need of some young contested midfielders, of course, with Taylor Adams getting on. They've got absolutely spanked in clearances this year, so yeah, maybe a bit of a project player. I feel like 𝐸𝐿𝐸𝐿 can work on his speed and his tank sort of, so maybe he could be a bit of a slow burn sort of player for the Pies, but yeah, I think if he's still available, strong contested inside midfielder, I feel like the Pies will snap him up. And for the final selection in my mock draft in today's video, the top 30, St Kilda on the clock, and I reckon they will take 𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐿, the midfielder slash forward that can show impact on both areas or in dual positions. But yeah, I just feel the Saints, look, I feel like they maybe could take Matt Gruevski. They do, I'm pretty sure they do have like 2 picks after this pick 30 here. But yeah, 𝐵𝐵𝐿 probably maybe best available. He's a player that I could really see 𝐵𝐵𝐵𝗹 in this draft because he's just a clean player, really smart decision maker as well. And the Saints do need some point of difference midfielders. So Phillipou alongside 𝐵𝐵𝐿. You know, the inside midfielders look really strong, but 𝐵𝐵𝐿 sort of as that outside midfielder is a good fit for the Saints, and I reckon they'll take him at pick 30. So everyone, there is my mock draft for the 2022 AFL draft. Of course, mock drafts are always head scratches. It took me a while to really think about it. I was chopping and changing left, right, and center with a number of these selections, but yeah, you know, this is just my thoughts on what the top 30 will look like. It could go absolutely anywhere with a lot of these selections. Like, you know, Phillipou go high up. I could definitely see Bustling slide, or even, of course, Elijah Hewitt. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts, fellas. There's my mock draft. And feel free, fellas, to comment down below and let me know what you think of my mock draft. Of course, these are always interesting sort of videos. A lot of people Always like to cause a bit of debate with these two. So yeah, I'd love to hear your fellas' thoughts down below in the comments. So everyone, thank you very much for tuning into today's video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you wanted to enjoy. Draft, of course, coming up, I think 2 weeks from now at the time of recording this video. So yeah, I'm bloody keen. So make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you wanted to enjoy. And until next time, I will talk to you later. See you later, folks.